Hey Tatum, this is the first of a few videos to teach you how to make crochet animals. I know you told me that you only knew how to do the single crochet, so what we're going to work on today is learning new stitches. The stitches that'll make it a lot easier for you to make these cute little animals. The first things first, we've got our single crochet. As you know, when you start a new row, you add a stitch onto the end so that your row is even and you get a square or a rectangle or whatever you're trying to do. With a half double crochet, which is our first stitch, you're actually going to add 2 stitches onto the end because the height is a little bit taller than the single crochet. So here's our first stitch and our second stitch. The next thing you do is you pull the yarn over your crochet needle. Now the size of your needle actually really does matter. The bigger the needle, the bigger your stitches are going to be and the bigger your animal is going to be. Sometimes you want a really small needle so you don't have very big gaps in your little animal. Sometimes you want a bigger needle because you want a bigger animal, and maybe you're going to do a tighter stitch with a bigger needle. It's all relevant, and I'm going to babble on, so I'm just going to continue on and teach you how to do the half double crochet. Now, as you know, we just made those first 2 stitches. We're not going to insert our yarn into those 2 stitches because those are the ones that are going to go up the side and are going to keep our square fairly square in the first place. Okay, so we have our yarn over. We're going to skip the first 2 stitches, and my phone hopefully is going to focus. There we go. So you're going to insert it into the 3rd stitch. Now, see, like that. Right now we have 3 loops on our yarn needle. Come on, cell phone. Okay, focusing. There we go. All right, so we're going to take our yarn over, and we're just going to go through the first loop. Now we still have 3. You're going to take your yarn, and you're going to go through all 3 this time. So again, we're going to take our yarn over into the next stitch, just like that. Pull the yarn through the first loop, which is our stitch. Then we're going to pull the yarn through all 3 loops. So one more time, yarn over, insert it into the next stitch, yarn through, and yarn through all 3. A little bit bigger than a single crochet row would be. It's actually 1.5 times bigger. That's why it's called the half double crochet. The next stitch you're going to learn is the double crochet. Now, just like the half double crochet, you're going to add 2 stitches because it's taller, 2 stitches onto the end of your row to make it square. All right, this time we're going to do almost the exact same thing. Yarn over, insert not into the first or the second. Going to insert it into the 3rd stitch on your line. Pull the yarn through. Now, instead of pulling the yarn through all 3, we're going to pull the yarn through only 2. So there's 1, and we still have another loop on. So we're going to pull the yarn through again. So you're going to pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time. Yarn over, insert to the next stitch, insert it into the next stitch correctly. Yarn through 2, yarn through 2. One more time, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, through, there you go. Now you've got 3, through 2, and through 2. This one is slightly bigger. It's the size of 2 stitches, going up, as you can pretty much tell by the name. It has a little bit bigger of a gap, but that's okay. The last stitch we're going to learn is called the triple or the treble crochet. This one, as you can probably tell by the name, is 3 stitches tall, so we need to add 1 more stitch onto the end of our line. 1 more. All right. So, like before, we're not going to go into the first 3. We're going to go into the 4th, but this time we're going to wrap our yarn around the needle 2 times. Sometimes it'll fall off and it's really hard to keep it on. You can put your thumb on the end of it. A little bit harder to maneuver that way, but it keeps the yarn from falling off. We're going to put the yarn through. We've got 4 loops on right now. You yarn through the first one, so now you've got 4 little movable loops. Now, I hardly ever do this stitch except for maybe to make a buttonhole because it's a really tall stitch and it leaves really big gaps. But we're going to do the exact same thing we did on the double crochet stitch. We're only going to go through 2 loops at a time. So that's 1, 2, 3 times we're going to pull through 2 loops. So yarn over twice into the next loop or stitch to the next stitch, that's the name. And you're going to pull through once. Got 4 loops, pull through 2, through 2 again, and through 2 the last time. As you can see, this one has a really big hole. So like I said, pretty much mostly for buttons. Sometimes, like if you're making booties or shoes or something like that for someone, you use this stitch along the rounded part of the shoe. But that's pretty much it for stitches to the sizing stitches. Pretty sure you can make them even bigger, but who would really want to, right? So that's the end of the first video.